Well, good morning. Many people are asking questions like, am I significant in the universe, or is my life just an accident? My name is Michael Ots. Why don't you grab a coffee and let's chat about that question. Maybe it's one of those questions we might think about as we stare up at a starlit sky or think deep into the night when we cannot sleep. Are our lives really significant? And on one level, you might say, well, of course they're not. We seem pretty insignificant in the vast scheme of the universe. I mean, think about who I am. I am one person in a world of 7 billion people on this little planet that we call Earth, in this little blip of history that we call the 21st century. And our planet is one of several that revolve around our star that we call the Sun, which is one of 100 billion stars in our known galaxy called the Milky Way, which is one of 100 billion galaxies in the universe. Who am I? Pretty insignificant. Francis Crick, the scientist who discovered the structure of DNA, once put it this way, in fact very consistently with his worldview. He said, you, your joys and your sorrows, your memories, your sense of identity and free will are in fact no more than a vast assembly of nerve cells and their associated molecules. You're nothing but a load of neurons. Now actually that was very consistent with his worldview, which was materialism, a worldview that discounted the idea of God, anything beyond the physical matter of our universe. And yet, I want to say, was even Francis Crick consistent with the worldview that he held? Did he, for instance, on Valentine's Day say to his wife, "To my darling neurons, my neurons love you very much"? I'm guessing he probably didn't, because actually it's hard for any of us to be consistent, utterly consistent with that materialistic worldview. Deep down, all of us have a sense that our lives matter, that life is significant, and that our lives mean something. And we certainly live that out in the way that we go about our lives day by day. So how do we account for that? Maybe we need a better story, a bigger story to account for who we are and why our lives have such value today. See, take this ring for instance. This ring has a material value. You could buy it in a jeweler's shop. But actually to me, this ring has far more value than the stuff that it's made of. See, the real value of this ring to me is not just what it is, but what it signifies, what it symbolizes. It symbolizes the marriage that I have to my wife. It has infinite value because it is connected to something beyond itself. And the Bible and the Christian faith says that our lives have infinite value and significance because they're connected to something beyond ourselves. We were created, according to the Bible, in the image of God. We're connected to the God of the universe. And therefore, each one of us has infinite and intrinsic value because of who we are in relation to the God of the universe. But you might say, well, if that is the case, why do I sometimes not always feel so valuable? Why do I sometimes feel so insignificant? And that's also because the Bible says we are disconnected from this God who made us. We're cut off by our own choice from the God who created us. Are we still valuable to a God like that? One of the ways I try and illustrate this is to take a British £20 note and offer it to an audience. And of course, everybody says yes, particularly if they're students, because they don't normally have a lot of cash. But then I take that £20 note and I scrumple it up and I say, would you like it now? And of course they say yes. I tear it. They say yes. I sneeze into it, I trample on it, but still people want it. Why? Because it's still worth £20. It's still valuable. And in the same way, the wonderful message of the Christian faith is that although we are like that £20 note, crumpled, broken, dirty on the inside, we are still loved by this God who made us. So loved that he would be willing to become one of us in the person of Jesus, and then willing to take what we deserve as he dies a horrific death on a cross, so that we can be forgiven and brought back into a relationship with the God who made us. And it's in a relationship with this God who loves us that we can find our ultimate significance, our ultimate purpose, and our ultimate value. Now look, there's loads more we could say about that, isn't there? And maybe you'd like to get in touch and find out more. Or maybe you'd like to join us for another coffee.